Yeah, I don't think there's many changes, if any at all.
Same old, you know.
Fill it out, sign it.
Is there?
Same old, same old.
Is that the only power that's for his laptop?
I
Okay.
just tried to get some.
Well, no, it's fine. I'm good. No, I'm 100% right now, but I'm getting ready to join so I can see who I was on. Because I like to see when people are on. Search my profile. That one. I got my speed test already. Did Aaron come over here and check everything out? Okay.
Oh, and he made sure this thing, he sent this Unibus thing, Unipurse, whatever.
He reset it?
Yeah, this white thing. God, the owl's even closer.
Yeah, I'm a actually slide it a little bit that way because it's right in my face. Hey, how are you? You changed your hair color.
I didn't change
You
it.
did? I remember your hair being that red. Maybe because it's always up.
Maybe.
Yeah, that's probably what it is.
How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm okay.
Good.
You and I'm not. You look like Keep going. I took a praise video and I haven't posted it to see what I posted. I was like, this, but I kind of, it's cute. She goes,
It is again. And I did not do it this time. It looks like it's frozen.
hey, oh good, how are you?
Okay, nope.
Looking over here and I didn't even realize it was you. Good.
There is a little bit of a delay. Gosh almighty, that thing is like right in my face.
Oh, he won't get that
Harry Mayer, Randall.
I was trying to, for it not to be.
Huh?
Yeah,
I was trying to get it. Something happened.
Yeah, you can get to it.
Yeah, you're fine.
No, it's fine. No, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Okay. Hey, Dorothea, y'all just let us know when y'all are ready. The mayor said so. Just make sure.
No, not yet.
So, how do they know about the stuff you discussed?
I'm assuming y'all met earlier. A couple y'all. I assume he put us together a couple at a time, I guess. Just to make sure we didn't. Yeah, which makes sense to me.
So where are we at? Where's the picture?
City Council special call meeting Thursday, June 29th, 2023. Roll call, Mr. Scott.
Here.
Mr. Brower. Here. Mr. Blackwell.
Here.
Ms. Taylor.
Here.
Mr. Kirk.
Here.
Need a motion to approve our agenda for this evening.
So move. Second.
And a motion by Mr. Scott, second by Mr. Blackwell to approve the agenda as presented. Any other question or discussion? Mr. Scott?
Yes.
Mr. Brower? Yes. Mr. Blackwell?
Yes.
Ms. Taylor?
Yes.
Mr. Kirk?
Yes.
All right, we will move now to item 1, new business, which is the purpose of our meeting tonight. And that is an appeal hearing for Mr. Jonathan Lynn. Our procedures tonight for this meeting, the mayor and council through our city attorney will present information outlining the reasons for termination. Mr. Lynn will have an opportunity to respond to the reasons for termination and to convince mayor and council not to continue with the termination by correcting the issues raised by mayor and council. Mayor and council and Jonathan Lynn shall have an opportunity to respond with any further information. Discussions, information, or witnesses shall be limited only to the issues related to Jonathan Lynn's termination. With that, we'll go into item number 1, new business, our public hearing, our appeal hearing, and I'll turn it over to Mr. Dickey.
Thank you, Mayor. Council on June the 1st of 2023 at a legally called meeting with a quorum present, voted to suspend and to terminate the city manager, Jonathan Lynn. Council cited as reasons for that suspension and for that termination. One, the mayor and council of the city of Rincon have no confidence in Mr. Jonathan Lynn's abilities to manage the city of Rincon. The mayor and city council of the city of Rincon feel that Mr. Jonathan Lynn has failed to properly communicate with mayor and council and the public. The mayor and city council of the city of Rincon feel that Mr. Jonathan Lynn has failed to properly keep the mayor and council informed of the decisions made by him concerning city business. The mayor and city council of the city of Rincon feel that Mr. Jonathan Lynn has been ineffective in his administration by failing to respond to council and the citizens of the city of Rincon. The mayor and the city council of the city of Rincon feel that Mr. Jonathan Lynn has shown a lack of accountability for the mismanagement of the city of Rincon. Mr. Jonathan Lynn changed policies established by mayor and council without notifying mayor and council or obtaining the approval of mayor and council. Mr. Lynn failed to follow mayor and council's directives to him. Mr. Lynn has had excessive absences from his position at City Hall. And finally, Mr. Lynn has not been straightforward or candid with information and statements he has provided to mayor and city council. So on that particular date, they moved to immediately suspend the city manager pursuant to Section 2-2 of the city charter, and Mr. Lynn appealed that within the applicable time period, and by appealing it, the city council set a hearing within the 30-day period, which brings us to tonight. The vote at that time on June 1 was Mr. Scott voted to suspend and terminate. Mr. Brower also voted to suspend and terminate. Mr. Damon Ron, who is no longer a council member, voted no, not to suspend or terminate. Mr. Councilman Blackwell voted to suspend and terminate. Councilwoman Taylor voted not to suspend or terminate, and then Councilman Kirkland voted to suspend and terminate. And under this charter provision, it does state that the mayor and council votes. So the mayor voted also to suspend and terminate. So it was a 5-2 vote. With that being said, we're gonna go into some issues, that the mayor and council saw with the performance and actions of Mr. Lynn. First and foremost, so that the public will understand, when a city sets a budget, it's set by city ordinance. That means it's a law of the city. That budget cannot be changed except by mayor and council. Once it's passed, that is the funding for that fiscal year. The only way any additional expenditures can be made is for an amendment by mayor and council to that budget. That also means that no one can use unauthorized money to expend within, on anything that's not contained within that budget. Mr. Lynn, through policies with the city and the council, general policies and ordinances, as city manager, has a spending limit of $5,000. He can authorize purchases for other departments up to $5,000. Any purchase over $5,000 must be brought to city council for approval. Any purchase that's likely to exceed $20,000 must, and this is by ordinance, must be brought to city council and placed out for bid so that the public and not local merchants, female-owned companies, or minority merchants or companies can bid on those proposals, those government expenditures. The policy was amended on February 27th, 2023, because before that point, it was $5,000 was the limit by which bids had to be sought through advertisement and sealed bids. That was changed to $20,000. Concerning absences from work, multiple council members had gone by City Hall on multiple occasions to speak with Mr. Lynn and could not find him. No one at City Hall knew where he was at. And this was brought up in his evaluation. It was discussed with him. It's my understanding that he said that he would not do it anymore and would make sure everyone knew where he was at. But unfortunately, it still continued on multiple occasions, even after his evaluation and meeting with mayor and council concerning that issue. Concerning unauthorized expenditures of money. Council first learned that there were multiple employees who had executed documents to authorize money to be withdrawn from their checks, their money, employee money, to be invested in retirement accounts with Capital Group American funds. As a result of one of the individuals finding out that that money was being withdrawn, but was not being invested in the account which they authorized. They didn't know where their money was at. So this person, this employee, came to along with the finance director, came to Mr. Lynn's office to lodge a complaint about this issue and complain about the HR person who is directly under Mr. Lynn's direction about this issue. And this occurred in early April. End of March, early April. The funds apparently had been taken out of the employees' checks starting back in January. Council was never informed about any of this issue. Mayor and council knew nothing about it. A complaint was filed by Mike Osborne, the recreation director, against, or not against, but in regard to this, because approximately $800 had been taken out of this check, and he didn't know where the money was invested at. He knew where it was supposed to be going, but he didn't know where it had been invested at. And that occurred on April 19th. We'll get a better date very shortly. Excuse me, it was April 19th. At the next council meeting, Mr. Lynn told council that he would look into it. Well, apparently what had happened was that HR had somehow invested these individuals' money in a Roth investment account. So all of these individuals' money was in the investment account, totaling probably somewhere around 15 to 16. It's hard to determine exactly what the amounts were because we don't have access to their accounts. The employees started receiving, at some point in time, statements after this was determined what had occurred. Mr. Lynn, rather than coming to council to explain what went on and to ask for money to straighten out the problem, he went and authorized money, non-budgeted money, which means that it came from the general fund and was not in the budget. It's statement number one. He misappropriated this money, which he had no authority whatsoever to do. He can only make expenditures within the budget, not outside of the budget. He took taxpayer money and opened up the accounts for these employees at Capital Group American Funds. So now, based on his actions, what we have is we have accounts with the amount of money that supposedly was supposed to be in those accounts, but it's taxpayers' money and unappropriated and unbudgeted money. In addition to that, these same individuals have Roth retirement accounts with the money that was taken out of their checks in those accounts. So the proper thing would have been, that should have been done was he should have brought this to mayor and council's attention. This money should have been rolled over to the other retirement account with Coastal Capital Group American Funds so that the taxpayers' money would not be in those accounts improperly. It would have been the employees' money. Now we have more of an issue because to terminate those accounts, which are in these individuals' names, they're going to suffer tax consequences for terminating those accounts without it being rolled over. In any event, because he misappropriated the money, what he should have done, if he was going to do that, Mr. Lynn, he should have came to mayor and council for not only an approval, but an amendment to the budget. Every year, a city must go through an annual audit by an independent auditor who looks at all of these items. And when they determine what items were inappropriate and illegal, they, for lack of a better word, they fine or put a bad mark against the credit of the city. And so we won't know the entire effects of this until after the audit, which will be done this time next year. Council establishes policies. It is up to the city manager to carry those policies out. Mr. Lynn unilaterally changed a council policy that had been in place since 2009. City council set a policy concerning city personnel benefits at the golf course. The policy that was established said that the personnel would not be charged green fees, but they would have to pay the cart fees. The reasoning behind that policy was that the golf carts would suffer more wear and tear, and that the city personnel should not be exempt from having to pay for that wear and tear that they place on the golf carts. The cost of play was free for city personnel that were walking the course because no golf cart was used. Jonathan Lynn changed this well-established council policy that had been in place for 13 years without consulting mayor or council or obtaining their approval. And he changed that policy to allow no charges. All city personnel would not have to pay any amount of money to play or for the cart fees. Mr. Lynn does not have the authority as a city manager to change the city council policies without that authorization. Mismanagement of insurance accounts. Mr. Lynn first was hired in September of 2022. The insurance broker who handles the life insurance and the health insurance for the city had been experiencing quite a few problems with the HR person. This HR person, according to the insurance broker, was not notifying the insurance broker when a person was hired with the city, when they left the city's employment. So it was very difficult to be able to start benefits and put them on the health insurance, which is a city policy that all employees are entitled to health insurance. Not to mention family coverage, that's also part of this. She had this discussion with him in September of 2022. There are also other issues involved in that, because when you're not notified of an employee leaving the city's employment, there are federal laws that require COBRA, which is insurance coverage notices, to be sent to those individuals, so that those individuals can either elect on their own to continue that coverage and pay, or move on and not be on the insurance. This became a reoccurring problem. It did not change. There were still problems from the HR person, so much to the extent that on 12/19/2022, the insurance broker asked for a meeting with the mayor and Mr. Lynn concerning these issues, which have not been resolved. At that meeting, the mayor asked Councilman Reese Brower to be there. And that meeting was concerning the continued problem regarding insurance payouts, meaning people had left employment and the city was still paying their insurance premiums. Not getting notified of new hires so that they could be started on insurance. Not only health insurance, but life insurance. And about the fact that the insurance broker needed to stop these terminated employees' benefits, which also triggered the federal requirement of COBRA notices. So none of that was getting done. She stated she had to involve the mayor and city council because nothing was being done by Jonathan Lynn to resolve these issues that she brought to his attention. On January the 6th, 2023, Mr. Lynn informed the insurance broker that the HR person would be handling and management of the life insurance information and policies, and therefore it would all be turned over to the HR person. The insurance broker, who as a courtesy maintained what is known as the life insurance book, which covers not only payments to make sure that the life insurance was current in payments, but that all the information and data was current for new hires and for people who have left employment. Meaning that if you don't keep that up to date, the beneficiaries that they put down is not on the policy. Addresses, everything involved in that. On March 29th, 2023, the insurance broker once again had to meet with the mayor and Jonathan Lynn to discuss the continuing same issues that had already been presented to Mr. Lynn. The insurance broker also discovered during this meeting that the COBRA notices were not being sent to terminated employees as required by federal law. She still wasn't being notified of people who left the city's employment. She wasn't being notified to put people on the insurance, which put the city in both instances at a great liability, meaning that the city could be potentially responsible for medical costs when this person was supposed to be covered by health insurance and was not, because they were never added to the policy. Once again, Mr. Lynn assured mayor and the insurance broker that he would resolve those issues. They were not resolved. In fact, on 4/2023, Jonathan Lynn informed the insurance broker that the HR person's last day was June 30th. That is when the insurance broker discovered that the employees who were being hired, their paperwork was nowhere to be found so that it could be added to the insurance, both life and health, and that their payroll deductions hadn't been started. So the city was paying for insurance, family coverage, several things, because none of the deductions were being done. On April 27th, 2023, the insurance broker also discovered that the life insurance book, which I spoke of earlier, was exactly the same information and documents as when she first handed it over to the HR person. And that no information had changed, even though multiple people had been hired, multiple people had been let go, and there had been changes for information, personal information on the life insurance. But more importantly, HR is responsible for notifying the payment issue to finance so that money could be paid. And the insurance broker found that the life insurance policies for everyone in the city had not been paid for over 6 months. And they were supposed to be paid once a month. The insurance broker was able to recapture some of that time and institute life insurance back for the employees. Liability for medical bills, health insurance, and COBRA, and the loss of the money paying benefits for people who were no longer employed by the city. And we're not talking about just 1 month. We're talking about multiple months that occurred for people who were no longer in the city. Those are clearly things of mismanagement, and that falls in the lap of Mr. Lynn, because he is the city manager. He was aware of all of these things. He assured mayor and council that those things would be taken care of and that would be handled, and that did not occur. Not even since September of 2022. Purchasing policies, so that I can bring back the fact that Mr. Lynn, as the city manager, up until February of 2027, can only authorize up to $5,000 to be spent on budgeted items or budgeted expenditures. Those expenditures, if they exceeded the $5,000 before February 27th of 2023, when the policy was changed to increase it to $20,000, all of those things had to be put out for bid so that everybody's entitled to be able to bid on government expenditures and contracts. Minority participation, female ownership participation, and local merchants. As we go through this, it is clear from the information that will be presented that Mr. Lynn attempted to circumvent all of those city policies. He tried to expend money within certain limits so that he never had to go to mayor and council for approval or authority to make those expenditures, and to not have to bid those expenditures out to the public so that competitive bids can be made. So that that's a little clearer. At this point in time that I'm about to speak about, and we're going to show you some documentation, if the item cost more than $5,000 and it was budgeted, that meant that it was advertised on websites, advertised in the paper, and people could put sealed bids on it, and then the sealed bids were opened and awarded to the most responsive bidder. Anything under $5,000, You still had to go out and get bids, but you could solicit bids from individuals in order to, or companies, in order to try to get the lowest bid to save taxpayer money. Dell purchases. Mr. Lynn used not only his credit card, but other employees' credit cards without their authority or permission. He just asked for the credit card, and he made these expenditures. On one day, February 15th, which is prior to the change of the $5,000 going to the $20,000, he made purchases of